Welcome to Abnormal Truth, everyone. Thanks for clicking in. Today's video is the Mandela Effect for beginners. So if you are new to the Mandela Effect, this is going to be a good video for you because I'm going to go into the Mandela Effect in a little bit of detail. So, how did the Mandela Effect get its name anyway? The Mandela Effect got its name by researcher Fiona Broome, and she noticed there was a phenomena going on that people seemed to remember Nelson Mandela being reported as dead in prison in the 80s and 90s. And so she coined the phrase the Mandela Effect. And so that's really the only thing Nelson Mandela has to do with this whole thing, is that a lot of people remember him dying in the past way before he did. But he lived through prison, got out, and he died December 5th, 2013. So that's a Mandela Effect right there. It's actually named after a Mandela Effect. Another good one's the Berenstain Bears. This is a good example of a Mandela Effect. Now, so here's what happened. Lots of people, a huge amount of people actually, remember as a child these books called the Berenstain Bears. And they just remember it. They remember it like they remember Sesame Street and Fraggle Rock and whatever else there was as a kid. And here recently, they'll go back and look at even their childhood books, because some people still have them, and it says Berenstain, and they've never heard of a Berenstain Bear ever. It's Berenstain. And there's just hundreds of videos and blogs about this where people are just highly upset because reality changed. Even though it was just one little letter changed, that shouldn't have happened. And then when you look into it further, there's way more Mandela effects out there, and they seem to keep coming. Maybe not at an alarming rate, but pretty fast. And so that's what a Mandela effect is when a large group of people remember something in a certain way and then it changes. And these are not all false memories, okay? These aren't a mass sharing of false memories here, because like in the field of dreams, if you go watch the movie today, it'll say the famous line in the movie says, "Build it and he will come." And everybody that's having a Mandela effect for this movie remembers the saying going, "Build it and they will come." And I even remember having to think for a second or two, who was they, you know? But we do not have a lot of people going, "Build it and everybody will come," or "Build it and everyone will come," or "Build it and they all will come." It's not that. It's just either the way it is now, or if you're having a Mandela effect for it, it's the other way. And the same way, there's another Mandela effect for Jif peanut butter. And there is a huge amount of people that remember Jiffy. They remember this being called Jiffy. I don't have this one, but I know it's a Mandela effect because there's just too many people reporting it. And so we also, so they're in their memory, it was Jiffy. I guess. I don't know if there's two F's, but it doesn't matter. They remember a Y being on the end of Jif. So Jiffy. And in this reality right now, it's JIF, just like in this picture. But what we don't have is somebody going, "Well, I remember JIFFI, Jiffy." You know what I mean? That might not be the best example, but we're all remembering the same thing. And when you're talking about mass hallucinations or false memories, you expect a lot of different versions of everything, not almost always the same. And so there's also what I call misidentified Mandela effects, and this peach crayon was one of them. So a misidentified Mandela effect is when there are certain circumstances where things just look like it's a Mandela effect. So when I heard about this flesh-colored crayon Mandela effect, I had to go look it up because I remember the flesh-colored crayons. And this doesn't take long to research most of these. Some of them are a little bit more complicated, but a lot of these, especially like when you're talking products, they're real easy to research. So all I did was I did an image search and immediately got back dozens of pictures of the old crayons with flesh written on the paper there. And images can be manipulated, so you want to go a little further. And so I checked 3 or 4 websites just to make sure and verify when Crayola did in fact change the name from flesh to peach. So of course, if you look in the crayon box, you're going to see a peach crayon there instead of a flesh. I always thought it was a creepy name for a crayon anyway as a kid. But anyway, in 1962, Crayola changed the flesh colored crayon to the peach colored crayon, or just renamed it, to avoid legal issues and to encourage people to embrace seeing the world in black and peach. So that's what happened there. And I always thought that was kind of weird. I was like, okay, the flesh color, it's not everybody's flesh is that color. Even if you're talking about Caucasians. We have vast difference of shades. Anyway, glad that changed, right? And so that is a misidentified Mandela effect. So there's a few of those out there, and they happen. It doesn't discredit all the other really, really good ones out there. And so that's a little bit about some of the different, that's just something that can happen when you're looking into the Mandela effect. So just keep that in mind. And so I believe we're going to wrap the video up here. If you guys are new to the Mandela effect and have any more questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And if at all possible, I will answer your questions for you. And I bet other people would too if you had any questions. So don't be afraid to leave the comments there. And anyway, thanks for listening, and I will see you guys next time.